Hi guys, so this is another tutorial on Goattracker. If you're running Goattracker and it's very small on your 4K or 2K monitor or whatever, like my one is, well, I've actually got the recorder recording the window for the video, but if you do Shift and Alt and Enter, it will become full screen, right? And I have no idea if I'm still recording correctly or not now, but I'm going to come back out of that. But that'll let you run it full screen. I'll just do it like this because at least I can see it's recording correctly through OBS there. And yeah, so you can't resize the window or anything like that, so I'm just going to work in this small screen here. And I wanted to cover the arpeggios thing again because it was something that was missed in the previous video. I realised that after watching it back, that I never mentioned it. So I'm going to do FF and wavetable 1, right? And then I'll do a 2-1 and 2-0 there, FF to close it off to finish the loop sort of thing. Right, so that gives me this sound. Realize how loud that actually is. Let's just change that to 7. There we go. Right. Jam mode. Right, and these three here are going to be used to make my arpeggio. So if I do 3, 7, it's like a minor, I think. But see, it just plays once. It basically goes set the tone with no change, then for 1 tick, no change. For 1 tick, up 3 tones. For 1 tick, up 7 tones. Turn the note off. End. Right, it doesn't look back. If there's a 0-0 here, this doesn't do anything. So you want it to look back to 2 essentially here. Make it last a bit longer. Right, and I don't know how attack works, to be honest. I think it's like that. It doesn't really last as long as we'd like, so I think use sustain with it, maybe. Yeah, I'm not really sure because I'd expect it to be going for a long time. Let's just try E there. Yeah, it's not got the right build up. So I wonder if it's something to do with this. Yeah, it just doesn't do the attack the way I'd expect, like a proper build up, then release. Yeah. See, the attack's just way too strong, and it feels like it never reaches its peak here. So I don't know what I'm doing. Wrong. Sustain just means it keeps the note when it's finished, I think. Let's see, there's no decay. Yeah, it's just silent now. It's not building up to anything, even if I play the. So if anyone can help me with that, that would be good. I don't know why this always says 9 either. First frame wave 9. It gives it maybe the chip a bit of time to I don't know, concatenate what it has to make. Is my feeling. But the lack of attack here just really bothers me. If I did attack F, because usually it's like attack, then there's it holds for a while, then it decays, then sustain is what it's left with at the very end. So even if we'd said something like that, and we get nothing. Like even if I hold down, let me stop it playing. Jam mode, stop. Right, it's just repeating the, I think it's just repeating the, if I hold down, it's just repeating the note frequently, however it wants, but you'd expect when you play the tune for it to be working. So I don't really know how to do attacks properly, like a slow attack in Goattracker. And I don't know if it's maybe something to do with the note being switched off. Okay, that was more like it. That was a very slow attack. So because I'd switched the note off, it didn't last. Let's try. Let's try that again. Okay, I think I've figured it out. Let's do A's. That's better. And we can slow that arpeggio down. I can add in a couple. So I'll do A, then C, I think. That's nice. Let's do another one here actually. It's quite cool. And we can do a couple of these. One now. Sounds kind of cool. So, get out in a still place. Stop. I can play it a bit slower just to hear it a bit clearer. In fact, what I'll do is loop it back to... back to 2 is fine, I think. Let's try back to 1, see what it does. It's more of a limp. Back to 3. Yeah. Back to 2, so it's going to there. 0, 3, and change that to 4. It's more of a major. I don't know my chords, to be fair. I just experiment here. R reversed that for whatever reason. So E. Of course, you can change the tone at any point, so I can do 2 1s here. But the problem here, they keep the same wave, but you don't have control of their timing then. You'd have to manually repeat them, like so. Oops. Yep, 2107. If you wanted, that's if you wanted to do any note changes between. Seems a bit off. Anyway, I like to do it the way we had it. So 0 0 bum 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 bum, and then just have your values in here. So 2 2 2 2 2. Sounds like it's sliding a bit as well. It must be that last bit there. I'm going to slow that right down. I want to know what's going on with this. Maybe I can delete that one and go back to 1. Do 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 do. Okay, let's keep it on like that then. Do 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 do. That's quite nice, that. I like that. Let's do 3s. Oh, that's pretty nice. I'm going to do that. I can imagine that with a nice bass coming in. Whoa, 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 whoa. Right, so let's do that one. So spacebar. It's a bit fast though. See if I do a little limp in it. That's better. That just needs a nice big boom, boom. So stop that. Doom, 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 something like that. Doom, doom, doom. Let's just try that, just as its own thing. Position 8. I like it when you learn stuff like this, it's satisfying. Oh yeah, you can also do vibrato. So you choose the speed table. I do 2 and 2 or something like that. A delay, small amount. But with vibrato, you need to leave a note on. think this is speed and that's depth. Yeah. There's a bigger, slower, the lower it is, the faster it is, I think. Like a frequency or something, or I don't know what you call it. Timing. Let's change the note. Can you hear it that way? Change it to the pulse table. I don't know, I always just guess at these ones. Of course, you can try putting in the same one twice, so you don't have to like copy this, you just have to change this to pattern 1. That would be the same. Just if it's in your track, then you want to have 0, 1, 1 if it's in your song. So really deep sound. Anything you do to that track affects the other, even a number in here or something. You see, it affects both of them. So yeah, just be mindful of that. But if you did want it to be unique, then you can just do, so you get an higher octave version of it. And you can do something like that. Change that to 2. If you just want to play the pattern, I think it's F3. And then if you like that, well, you keep that and you do a new pattern, and you can do like a variant, so you can spice it up later. I'll put the octave up. Again, F3. F4. So then you say you had that and you wanted to introduce some beats. Now, what do you sacrifice? You sacrifice these nice mixed arpeggios, I suppose, and then put in your beats in there. Or do you use one of these notes? So I'm going to go for, I'm going to copy all this. There's probably a better way to copy from one pattern to the next. I'm going to copy all that and do pattern 4 here. Put that in there. And to test this pattern, I press F3, right? F1 plays the whole tune. So I'd have to change that note, that pattern to 4 if I wanted that. But anyway, so F3 will be able to test this. But what I want to do is bring in that drum kit that I had, the snare drum. So in order to load or save an instrument, you have to be in the instrument table, just be clicking it. It's kind of case sensitive, so if you click somewhere here, it'll be save a load song. When you press F10, it's load, and when you press F11, it's save. F10 here, it's a song. F11, it's save. Right, so we want to be here, and there was a snare drum that I saved in yesterday's little session of learning this, and I'm just going to load that up with F10, and I forget where it is now. It's already saying path tools. Oh, load instruments, go back one. Samples. Oh, yeah. Right, so hopefully not messed it up. Right, so if I want to now introduce that snare, which you can press the bass bar. So boof boof. So I'm going to sacrifice the. And you'll notice, no matter what note you press, it stays the same. It stays at the same sound. That's because the way this has been programmed. So if you look at the wavetable OA, it's got these values in there. So noise, pulse, noise off, but it's using these values C8, AC, A4, C4, Z0. Now there's a chart that basically says if you use these values, they're fixed notes. You can't change them. So it keeps your drum consistent. So bum bum boof bum 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 boof bum bum boof bum bum. So let's try that. I think I got it a bit wrong there, so I'm just going to paste. Just paste where it remembered me. So it's bass snare. I'm going to use a different note. C. Do D. Just want a thing that I don't really. F, right? One dub F. So it's bass, hat, snare, hat, bass, hat, snare. I say bass, kick, hat, snare. Sorry, kick, hat, snare, hat, kick, hat, snare. That's if it was a drum kit, like boot, pshta, right, like that. So. I accidentally put one there. You can't do an undo here, unfortunately. I'll just paste it in again. Right, let's do it right. So it's every my brain's not working right. So missed 3 notes. Yeah. Don't know how to make it. I messed this up so many bloody times. Right. Why is it going? Usually that's green. I've done something that's now not. It's now not like in an insert sort of mode, which I don't want that. Let me just see if I can fix it. What I did. Would I do shift in? don't know what I pressed, but it means now that it's not going down automatically. So I'll just have a look at the. Play from corporate, shift in space. Yeah, I don't know what I've done, but it's now not. It's now not doing what I want. Anyway, let's go delete that. Go back to 4. So it's kick, hat, snare, kick, hat. Oh, snare, kick, hat, snare, hat, 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 kick, hat, snare. Right, let's try that. So having heard what you heard before, your brain would kind of fill in the gaps. So for example, if it was this pattern, let me just do it as a sequence so you get used to that as well. So I'll do insert a few of these. Right, so you got 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 3, and 0, 1, 4. Right, and if I play the song now with F1, so you can see how having heard that whole sequence without the snare drum before gives my brain something to reference when the snare starts filling some of those notes, right? But at the same time I could drop one of these, but I might want to do that in the next one. So for example, if I insert now these 3 and go for, I say that's the 1 and that's the 4. I should do it from there actually, but anyway, so this will now be 5, 4. So pattern 1 is now going to become 5 like that. This is just the working area, right? And if you did want to hear from that, I think you do shift and enter. So that should be, yeah. If you click here and do shift and enter, it will come up with the, it will sort of put the patterns in place for you, so you can kind of edit from there, right? So now I can be like, okay, well, I would maybe put something else in here. So F3 to test it. Sounds weird. I've messed something up. There's a filter table in there that's affecting everything. Oh, I didn't notice that until now. Oh yeah, because that shouldn't have been there. For some reason I put a 1 in there. Oh no, that's for the snare drum. What the hell? Right. Right. Okay. So what's happened here is the snare drum's playing, but the snare drum is affecting channel 1. So it only should be played in channel 1. Now that's going to affect everything in that channel. So even if I've got the snare drum in here, what I'll have to do is turn the filter off essentially, because anything in that channel now is going to be affected by that snare drum, but it's only targeting channel 1, so I can make it target channel 4, see what happens with that on. It's confusing at first. I was kind of like, I still get confused by the filter, but 1, 2, 4, right, and then add them up if you want to combine them. Let's just check this. See, as soon as it hit that, it's affected it. That sounds pretty cool. Sounds like it's inside a nightclub or something. I turn that off. Play it again. So what you can actually do is force it to act off, and I think that's done with B00. So if we have it on, but if I make everything in here, how do you make it so that it goes down? I've pressed something here and I don't know what I've pressed. Scroll lock, number lock. I don't know what I've done, but it's not going down right after pressing it. Or I don't know what I could have pressed. Now I just need to do that. So if in theory, if I do all these B's, see, as soon as it's out of that. So that's how you can override the filter to basically say don't use it. And I just had an idea, because what I can do now for a bass drum is play the snare like that, right, but have it with a filter on. So if I do shift and copy that, then I'm going to put that into all my kicks. I'm going to lose a lot more than before, but it's alright, it's more of an experiment, so I get it's pretty effective. I'm going to try that for the rest. So kick, snare, I'm going to just change the note to something like A, there we go, just so I can recognize that my A's are my kicks. So, and it's on like 16s, 24, 32, 48, 48, 56, right. So that's quite effective, and I've got a channel free, so I can kind of just go nuts and do some lead tune or some melodies, more arpeggios. So I don't know, I'll just put something in there. I don't know what I want to make, but I'll just do wavetable 10. Let's do a vibrato. I don't think there's any used yet, is there? Yeah, there's that one that I made earlier. A bit of a delay on it. So we'll do a 21, 1, 1, close on a 10, something like that. We won't look back, let's just listen to it. Wavetable 10, that's the wrong one. If you don't hear anything, it's always best to look up there. Something like that. try that. It's going to mess with this value because sometimes it helps. If that doesn't help, a little bit of I can always put in a bit of so yeah, that's it really. You see, I can have loads of fun with that. So that was 5/4. I'll play the whole tune, F1. You can see how you can mix things up more there. Of course, you can even play the same track a couple of times, so you could do like 5 and 5 and 0 here, and see how that sounds. Also change the chip here to 8580. Does it sound any different? That sounds pants, right? So if I do shift and enter to go there and F3 and turn off, you just can't hear that. That's why people prefer 6581. It's got a more meaty filter to it, right? yeah, they've got the differences. I'm pretty sure you can recreate that sound, but it's some different parameters. Right, so that's really it. You can change your speed as well here as well. I think you click there like that, and I think it'll play the whole song twice the speed. Or it processes the instruments twice the speed. I think that's what it does. But it's not quite the same, so whatever you do, don't change that later. Just, you know, work on, you right click and you, oh yeah, left click, just there or there, right? So whatever you work on, just choose that from the outset and plan your song out. This isn't the best composition I've made, but you can get the idea of like building up a song and remixing some previous voices, patterns, whatever, to make what you want. And I think what this does is repeats. You can choose this to go back to like a different position if you wanted, or a resting value. I'm not too sure about these yet. There's lots of things you can do there that I'll uncover soon enough. But that's it for this tutorial. It just covers some of the things that I missed in the first one. Just, you know, covering the basics. This covers obviously the arpeggios a bit more, a wee bit into how the filters work, which again I'm still not 100% sure on. I know that the 908090A0 B0, they're all filter types, I think, and then the 8 and the 4, I don't know what they actually do, other than I know that the 4 here, I don't know what the 8 does, but the 4 definitely is to do with the channel that it affects. So 1, 2, 4. If you want to combine, it'd be 2 plus 4, 6. 1 plus 2 plus 4 would be 7. If you want to affect all channels, you can negate it by doing B00. There's probably other things you can do there as well. Yeah, and this is saying FFFD, so I don't know exactly what that means that it's doing, other than it's skipping all the way to the end of the filter table instead of a 00 there. I don't know. So yeah, I'll learn things as I go, but that's it. That's all I can share with you guys with Goattracker. Until next time, maybe I've made a song by then, and I'll catch you in that one. Thanks for watching. Oh, and I'm way down. Oh, here. Bye.